All right, it's day day six of the vlog that I'm doing for Lent, and um, so yesterday and today I had half days at work because tomorrow's the radiothon and we're getting ready for that. And tomorrow will be a 14-15 hour day for me. So I don't know. We'll see. I have I'm very excited that I thought of the idea of putting my alarm clock in the bathroom because it has worked. I got to work today early. Woohoo! So tomorrow is the big test because I have to be out of the house by 4:30. Also, is anybody open for coffee at 4:30? I think I'm gonna have to make my own. Yeah. And so anyway, um, doing the 40 days with Thurman here, and today I'm on day 3 or 4, I think I just read. And he was talking about God is here among us. And he quotes this passage from the Gospels where the disciples say to Jesus, "When is the kingdom coming?" And Jesus says, "The kingdom is not coming; it's already here." Which I'm not going to get into all the rapture stuff, right? So I mean, if you follow me long enough, you know my theology is Wesleyan, and no, I don't. I'm not getting into end times, right? Uh, so, but it made me think of yesterday when I was talking about um, what I called a divine encounter, a divine moment, and thinking about like it's not anything new, right? God is here, um, Emmanuel, God with us. Um, He, the Word became flesh and made His dwelling among us. We have seen His glory, the glory of the one and only who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. So this idea that God is here, and of course Jesus dies and rises from the dead and ascends to the Father and sends the Spirit, and the Spirit is here, and blah blah blah. Um, so it's not like that's a new concept. God is here with us. Um, but as I've been struggling with this whole thing about God, is God really okay? Yeah, God's here. His presence, the divine, is here. Um, how much is He involved? How much is He not involved? And I think just reading that today, that idea of God is here, um, is, I don't know, somehow it was satisfying to think of the fact that it's not about the ends justifying the means, right? The means justify the ends. I forget how that you say that, but it's just the fact that the divine is present, um, and that it's not always. I know that God, like all of this stuff I'm saying is stuff I know, right? But I'm just experiencing things maybe in a fresh way, in a new way of, He's not always in the dramatic, um, and that maybe we shouldn't constantly be listening, right? Like as evangelicals, I mean, one of the things I hear us say so often to one another is, "Well, are you listening to God? Where have you seen God at work?" I mean, I've said this, I've taught this, so I'm not criticizing anybody, um, but maybe that's the wrong perspective of we're so hung up of constantly looking and seeing where's God and where's God and what has He done for me lately, and or what has she done for me lately, whatever. Uh, and I think maybe we're just hung up on that. Where have we seen God at work? um, instead of just maybe assuming that he is at work, that we don't see it, we may never see it, we may not ever hear it, that somehow he's redeeming all things, and that our best effort is to sit, listen to um, our intuition in a sense. And I mean, we can call it the still small voice. We can say, well, your intuition is really the spirit. I don't know. I mean, when I start looking at the science of intuition, um, I it, it it creeps me out to use divine language about our intuition, because especially if you've read anything by Malcolm Gladwell, especially his book Blink, but then even some of the other science that's out there, that we take in so much information. Our brain, between our eyes, our nose, our ears, right? Our physical senses. Um, our brain is taking in so much data subconsciously that we're making a lot of decisions that when we say, oh, we're making decisions based on intuition, or oh, that still small voice, or God told me, or whatever, that it's really just our subconscious brain has been able to identify a whole bunch of stuff, and that there's only a certain amount in our conscious that's actually able to understand, like, oh, I see this, I see this, I see this, but then our subconscious is seeing and hearing and understanding more, and it's playing a role in our decisions that we make. And so I guess for me, there's something about this idea where Thurman talks about God is here. Like, when is the kingdom coming? Well, no, it's here. It's among you. It's within you. So, however we want to define it or articulate it, the divine is here, and I guess maybe I felt like I could trust myself. Like reading that for some reason said, give yourself permission to trust yourself. Give yourself permission to trust the decisions that you need to make, and and that if God is here and God really is redeeming all these things, and so anyway, and that thought is easy for me. That thought is easy for me when I think of the my daily stuff, right? Like just living my daily life. It's when I get into the bigger things, like injustice that we see happening in Israel and Palestine and Ukraine and Russia, and injustice that you see here, with racism and sexism and political agendas and abuse of power. And what about those things? Like, how is God redeeming those things, right? And if you tell me that they'll all be redeemed in the end when Jesus comes back, it's not satisfying for people who've experienced trauma. It's not. And in some ways, I feel like it's a cop out. Like, there does seem to be that, like the universe and creation needs to be in balance, and so somehow it needs to be balanced out. And I know, I guess one of the things I'm thinking about in my brain right now, and I don't know, maybe I'm just having a very serious ADHD. I don't know, I'm feeling a little beautiful mind right now, but there's when we talk about science, and when we go really, really big, so macro science, and we go really, really small, micro science, that the rules don't apply. So, like, we have gravity, and we have relativity and all these other things. But even like Einstein and who and other scientists throughout the ages have said, but it doesn't apply when you go really big or when you go really small. So what if God doesn't work the same everywhere? Like, okay, in our daily lives, God is here and God is with us. But when we get into the really, really big and the really, really small, what if God works differently in our lives and in creation and in the universe? What if the divine functions differently when we're in the really big stuff and in the really small stuff? And that part of what's messing us up, the church, people like me who are deconstructing, what if part of what's messing us up is that when you go really big and when you go really small, the theology that we're trying to apply doesn't work. And we need a different way to articulate God, and we need a different way to see how God works in the midst of those things. So, anyway, welcome to my head. Happy Thursday.